So let's talk about the PS5. It's been out for a while now, and yeah, I get it. People are still saying the console doesn't have enough games. The PS5 catalog might not be as packed as we hoped, but trust me, there are still some absolute gems that make having the console totally worth it. Whether you're looking to push the hardware to its limits, or just get lost in an unforgettable story, I've got you covered. Here are the 10 best PS5 games to play right now, even if we're still waiting for a bit more to fill out the library. Returnal. Returnal is a crazy ride. You're Celine, a space explorer who crash lands on this creepy alien planet, and the second you step out, you realize something's really off. Every time you die, you wake up right back at the crash site, forced to go through it all over again. It's like being stuck in a sci-fi horror Groundhog Day, and honestly, it pulls you in right from the start. You're left wondering, why is she trapped here? What's with all these weird creatures? The story unfolds slowly, but it keeps you wanting to know more. The gameplay is intense. This isn't a game where you can just sit back and chill. Every enemy, every room keeps you on edge. You're constantly dodging, firing, and reacting, and it's hard, but that's part of the fun. Every time you die, you learn something new, find better weapons, or unlock new upgrades, so it never feels like a waste. Plus, the world changes every time you respawn, so each run is a fresh experience. It's like the planet itself is messing with you, and that randomness keeps things interesting. And let's talk about the controller. The way the DualSense makes you feel the raindrops, the tension of aiming, the vibrations when things get intense, it's like you're really there. Returnal is tough, no doubt about it, but every bit of progress, every boss you take down, feels like a real win. It's frustrating, it's addictive, and it's honestly one of those games you just keep coming back to, even if it's kicking your ass. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is here, and it's everything fans of the original could have hoped for, plus a whole lot more. Picking up right where the FF7 Remake left off, this installment takes Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and the whole gang beyond the walls of Midgar and into a massive open world filled with secrets, new enemies, and even some familiar faces. Square Enix didn't just recreate an iconic RPG, they expanded it, adding layers of exploration, combat, and story that bring it fully into the modern era while keeping that nostalgic feel. The open world is stunning, think rolling fields, dense forests, and small towns, all rendered with insane detail. It feels like a real world, not just a series of connected locations. You'll be doing a lot of exploring, and Square Enix made sure to reward curiosity with hidden items, side quests, and challenging encounters. And with the addition of characters like Yuffie and Red 13 as fully playable party members, you get a ton of variety in combat. The battles are fast-paced and strategic, with each character having their own unique style and abilities, making it feel fresh every time you switch things up. What's amazing is how Rebirth balances the epic and the personal. The story digs deep into the characters' backgrounds and relationships, giving you moments that hit hard emotionally. Cloud and Aerith's interactions, Tifa's loyalty, Barrett's strength, it's all here, amplified and expanded in a way that feels true to the original but adds so much more depth. And yes, the new twists are there, keeping even longtime fans on their toes. You're not just reliving the story, you're experiencing it in a whole new way. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a love letter to fans, but it's also an invitation to new players to jump into one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. It's a game that makes you feel the weight of every battle, the depth of every relationship, and the excitement of every discovery. Simply put, it's a must-play and a brilliant continuation of a legendary journey. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 takes everything that made the first two games so great and dials it up even further. You're back as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, swinging through New York City, fighting crime and facing off against some of Spider-Man's most dangerous enemies, yet Venom and Kraven. The story is gripping from start to finish, balancing the high-stakes action with the personal lives of both Peter and Miles and making you feel like you're part of their journey. One of the biggest highlights is the seamless switch between Peter and Miles. You can swap between them on the fly, and each of them has their own unique abilities and style. Peter's got his classic gadgets and some incredible new symbiote powers which add a darker, more intense twist to his moves. Miles, on the other hand, brings his bioelectric venom powers which make combat fast, flashy, and a little unpredictable. It's super satisfying to mix up the combat styles and find creative ways to take down enemies with both characters. The open world feels alive and bustling, with tons of side missions, challenges, and collectibles to keep you busy. New York City looks amazing with beautiful graphics, detailed neighborhoods, and a few surprises hidden throughout. Swinging around the city has never felt better, and the upgraded traversal mechanics like the web wings make zipping from rooftop to rooftop even more fluid and fun. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 isn't just another superhero game, it's an experience that makes you feel like a part of Peter and Miles' world. The story, the combat, the city, it all comes together in a way that's exciting, emotional, and hard to put down. If you're a fan of Spider-Man or just love a well-made action game, this is a must-play that will keep you hooked for hours. Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls on PS5 is a masterpiece, plain and simple. It's challenging, gorgeous, and has this eerie, haunting atmosphere that stays with you long after you put the controller down. If you're new to From Software games or just dipping your toes into the Souls genre, this one feels like a true rite of passage. It doesn't hold your hand at all. You'll die, you'll get frustrated, and then you'll die some more. But that's part of the experience, and honestly, that's what makes each victory feel so damn rewarding. The world is split into distinct, atmospheric areas, each with its own enemies, hidden secrets, and environmental dangers. From the decaying castles to dark, twisted caves, every location has this oppressive vibe that makes you feel like you're never really safe. And the graphics? They're stunning. Bluepoint Games went all out with the remake, updating the visuals without losing that gritty, medieval feel that fans loved in the original. And the bosses? They're a mix of terrifying and epic. The first time you face the Tower Knight or the Flame Lurker, it's like nothing else. You're fully aware that one wrong move could send you right back to the beginning, but that just makes you more cautious, more strategic. You learn patterns, you adapt, and each time you get a little better. That sense of growth, of getting stronger and more skilled, that's what keeps you coming back. Demon's Souls is tough, no doubt about it, but it's not just a game that's hard for the sake of being hard. It's about patience, persistence, and the incredible rush you get when you finally take down a boss or make it past an area that's been kicking your ass for hours. It's challenging, it's brutal, and it's absolutely unforgettable. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is just pure joy. From the moment you start, it's like stepping into a Pixar movie that you get to control. The colors pop, the worlds are beautifully detailed, and the action never slows down. This time around, Ratchet and Clank are dealing with dimensional rifts, which means they're hopping between worlds in the blink of an eye. It's honestly mind-blowing how smoothly you're thrown from one dimension to another without any load times. It's one of those only on PS5 experiences that really shows off what the console can do. The gameplay is a blast. You've got this insane arsenal of weapons, each more ridiculous than the last. You've got everything from a gun that turns enemies into shrubs to one that launches explosive bolts of lightning. And let's not forget the Rift Tether. It lets you zip across the battlefield, pulling yourself through portals to outsmart your enemies. The whole game feels like a playground of chaos where you're encouraged to get creative with how you fight. But Rift Apart also introduces Rivet, a new Lombax from another dimension, and she's such a great addition. She's tough, funny, and fits perfectly into the Ratchet Clank universe. You switch between playing as Ratchet and Rivet, but they share the same upgrades and weapons, so you don't have to worry about leveling up two separate characters. It keeps the pace fast and lets you focus on the story, which is actually pretty heartfelt. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is one of those games that's just fun. It's lighthearted, packed with action, and has just enough story to keep you invested. If you're looking for a game that reminds you why gaming can be pure escapism, this one's it. It's the kind of adventure that keeps a smile on your face from start to finish.
Thank our marvelous Emperor before, during, and after making.
Astro Bot. Astro Bot is an absolute love letter to PlayStation fans, and it's one of those games that puts a smile on your face from start to finish. In this latest adventure, Team Asobi really went all out, giving us over 80 levels spread across 6 galaxies, each packed with charm, creativity, and just the right amount of challenge. You're playing as Astro on a mission to retrieve pieces of his DualSense spaceship scattered across the universe, and along the way, you're treated to some incredible PlayStation nostalgia. The game is full of Easter eggs and cameos that will make any PlayStation fan geek out. Imagine bot versions of legendary characters like Kratos from God of War, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and even Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. These little details make each level feel like a celebration of PlayStation history. Every corner you turn, you might stumble upon a familiar face or a hidden reference from games across all generations. It's like a fun scavenger hunt through PlayStation's legacy wrapped in a polished platformer. Astro Bot doesn't just lean on nostalgia though. It's a brilliant showcase of the DualSense controller with haptic feedback and adaptive triggers that make every interaction feel real. From feeling the tension in a slingshot to the tiny vibrations of Astro's footsteps, the game uses the PS5's tech to pull you right into its colorful world. It's not just about the visuals, every moment is designed to immerse you in Astro's journey, making each jump, slide, and interaction feel tangible. If you loved Astro's Playroom, this is that experience on a much bigger scale. Astro Bot is an absolute must-play for anyone who appreciates PlayStation's history or just loves a well-crafted platformer. It's a playful, nostalgic journey that reminds you why gaming is just plain fun. A Plague Tale Requiem. A Plague Tale Requiem is an unforgettable journey that pulls you right into the lives of Amisha and Hugo, two siblings fighting to survive in a medieval world torn apart by war, plague, and the relentless spread of rats. It's haunting, beautiful, and emotionally intense. Picking up where A Plague Tale Innocence left off, Requiem takes everything to the next level with bigger environments, richer storytelling, and higher stakes. The bond between Amisha and Hugo is at the heart of this game. You're not just dealing with the horrors of a plague-ridden world, you're fighting to protect family, to keep hope alive when it feels impossible. And this time, Hugo's powers have grown, which makes things even more complicated. He can control the rats, turning them into a terrifying weapon, but it comes at a cost, and you can feel Amisha's desperation as she tries to save him from a fate that seems inevitable. The visuals are stunning, from vast countryside landscapes to dark, claustrophobic towns overtaken by swarms of rats. The graphics really bring out the contrast of beauty and horror in every scene, making you feel the weight of this broken world. And those rat swarms, they're bigger and deadlier than ever, flooding streets and crawling over each other to reach you. Every encounter feels tense, forcing you to strategize, sneak, or fight your way through as Amisha becomes more skilled and ruthless. A Plague Tale Requiem is one of those games that sticks with you. It's about survival, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between siblings, and by the end, you're left feeling like you've been on this journey with them. It's emotionally heavy but incredibly rewarding, and it's a story that's hard to shake off once the credits roll. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is the ultimate way to experience Jin Sakai's journey as he fights to reclaim his home from the Mongol invaders. This isn't just an update, it's a full upgrade that adds new content, stunning visual enhancements, and a fresh island to explore, making it the perfect excuse to dive back into one of the best open world games out there. First off, Iki Island, this new expansion, is a game changer. It's a whole new chapter that takes Jin to a neighboring island, where he faces not only new enemies but also some painful memories from his past. Iki Island isn't just a beautiful new area, it's packed with unique stories, tougher enemies, and fresh upgrades. It's like Ghost of Tsushima on hard mode, with everything amped up. The island has its own atmosphere, filled with lush landscapes, eerie caves, and hostile camps that give it a darker, more personal edge. Who's he holding up? The Last of Us Part 1 Remake. The Last of Us Part 1 Remake is the ultimate way to experience Joel and Ellie's story, bringing a level of detail and immersion that feels like rediscovering the game all over again. Naughty Dog has completely rebuilt the game from the ground up, enhancing the visuals, animations, and environments to match the quality of Part 2. Every expression, every environment, every little detail feels so much more lifelike, making each moment more intense and more emotional than ever. From the start, you're pulled into this hauntingly beautiful post-apocalyptic world. The graphics are jaw-dropping, with landscapes that feel rich and textured, lighting that makes each scene more dramatic, and character models that show every emotion and scar. You're not just playing through the story, you're living it. The improvements in AI make encounters feel more dynamic too. Enemies are smarter, reacting to your movements and adapting to your tactics, making each fight a little more intense. What really makes this remake shine though is how it elevates the emotional weight of the story. Joel and Ellie's journey through loss, survival, and finding hope in a broken world feels even more impactful with these upgrades. You see every flicker of emotion on their faces, feel every tense moment of combat, and it just hits harder. For fans of the original, it's like experiencing the story with a new layer of depth. And for newcomers, it's the perfect introduction to one of the most celebrated narratives in gaming. The Last of Us Part 1 Remake isn't just a graphical overhaul, it's a tribute to a masterpiece, bringing it to a whole new level that's worth diving into, whether you're revisiting or discovering it for the first time. It's gripping, heart-wrenching, and just as unforgettable as it was the first time, if not more. God of War Ragnarök. God of War Ragnarök feels like a game that's not just bigger, but way more personal. You're back with Kratos and Atreus, and right from the start, you feel the weight of everything they've been through. This isn't just another adventure, it's a story that digs deep into what it means to be a parent, to confront your past, and to face the idea of destiny head on. And the best part, it's just as epic as it is intimate. The combat is as brutal and satisfying as ever, but with even more depth this time. You've still got the Leviathan axe and the Blades of Chaos, but now there are more combos, more moves, and new ways to use them that make each fight feel fresh. The enemies don't just stand around waiting to be beaten, they're smarter, faster, and they'll gang up on you if you're not paying attention. And then there are the boss fights. I'm not exaggerating when I say they're some of the best I've ever played. Each one is this huge, intense experience that feels like it could be the game's finale, but then the story just keeps going, throwing new challenges at you. But it's not all about the fighting. The relationship between Kratos and Atreus has really evolved. Atreus is older now, more independent, and he, as father-son dynamics I've seen in a game. There are moments where you can feel Kratos struggling with how to protect Atreus without holding him back, and Atreus is just as determined to find his own path. It hits hard, especially if you're invested in their story from the last game. And the world, it's stunning. Each realm feels like its own mini world, with places like Svartalfheim and Asgard bringing something completely new to explore. There's so much detail in every corner, so many side quests and secrets that pull you deeper into the Norse mythology. You can get lost in this game, just taking in the scenery or diving into the lore. It's that good. God of War Ragnarök is more than just a sequel, it feels like a journey you've been waiting to take. It's got all the epic fights and jaw-dropping moments you'd expect, but it also delivers a story with heart, about family and fate, and the struggle to be more than what the world says you have to be. It's a game that sticks with you long after the credits roll, and it's easily one of the best experiences on the PS5 right now. Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo is a wild, eerie ride through the neon-lit streets of Tokyo, but it's not the Tokyo you know. You play as Akito, a guy who wakes up to find the entire city emptied of people with only spirits and otherworldly creatures wandering around. And you're not alone in there. You've got this spirit named KK stuck in your head, giving you supernatural powers to fight off the evil forces trying to take over.
You could learn a new skill now.
The setting is honestly one of the best parts of the game. Tokyo feels alive, even when it's filled with ghosts and strange monsters instead of people. The streets are lined with glowing shrines, haunted convenience stores, and these small, tucked-away alleys that feel like they're hiding secrets. You're exploring rooftops, temples, and hidden parts of the city, and it captures Tokyo's vibe, but with this supernatural, unsettling twist that keeps you on edge. The combat is super unique too. You're not just using guns or swords or casting spells with your hands, weaving together attacks to blast spirits, trap them, or just blow them away. It's like magic mixed with martial arts, and it's so satisfying when you get the hang of it. Each spell has a different effect, so there's a lot of variety in how you approach fights. Plus, there's a stealthy side to it. You can sneak up on certain spirits and take them down without a fight, which adds a nice bit of strategy. And then there's the story. It's strange, a bit mysterious, and keeps you guessing. KK's backstory, the connection between him and Akito, and the reason why Tokyo is suddenly crawling with supernatural chaos all slowly unfold, and it's gripping. You meet all kinds of characters from trapped spirits to friendly yokai, and each encounter adds a little more to the world's lore. Ghostwire Tokyo is one of those games that feels different from anything else. It's not just another action game, it's this unique blend of horror, adventure, and Japanese folklore that pulls you in and keeps you exploring, even if it gives you chills. If you're into the supernatural or just want something fresh and weird, it's definitely worth a try.
Anyone see a road anywhere?
Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection is a treasure trove for any fan of the series, or for anyone new who wants to jump right into the action. This collection brings together Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and Uncharted The Lost Legacy 2 of the best entries in the series, now enhanced for the PS5 with smoother graphics, faster load times, and an overall more cinematic feel. Starting with Uncharted 4, you're thrown back into Nathan Drake's life just when he thought he'd left adventuring behind. The game takes you across stunning locations from lush jungles to ancient ruins, and it feels like a full-on blockbuster. The action sequences are insane, and the climbing, shooting, and puzzle solving feel even more fluid on the PS5, and that story Nathan's struggle between settling down and his thirst for adventure, it hits just as hard as ever. The Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection is the perfect way to experience two top-tier adventures, packed with unforgettable characters, jaw-dropping visuals, and that sense of discovery that makes Uncharted so special. Whether you're revisiting or diving in for the first time, it's a must-play collection that shows off exactly why Uncharted remains one of the best action-adventure series out there.
You've ruined everything.